Clark Gable was often referred to as the King of Hollywood. He had roles in more than 60 films in a wide variety of genres in a career that lasted 37 years, 3 decades of which were as a leading man. Born on February 1st, 1901, and raised in Ohio, Gable traveled to Hollywood where he began his film career as an extra in Hollywood silent films between 1924 and 1926. He progressed to supporting roles for MGM Studios, and his first leading role was in 1931's Dance Fool's Dance alongside Joan Crawford, who requested him for the part. His next role in the romantic drama Red Dust in 1932 with reigning sex symbol Jean Harlow made him MGM's biggest male star. Gable won the Academy Award for Best Actor for Frank Capra's It Happened One Night in 1934, co-starring Claudette Colbert. He was nominated for the same award for his roles in Mutiny on the Bounty in 1935 and Gone with the Wind in 1939 as Rhett Butler, opposite Vivien Leigh as Scarlett O'Hara. He found continued commercial and critical success with Manhattan Melodrama in 1934, San Francisco in 1936, Saratoga in 1937, Test Pilot in 1938, and Boomtown in 1940, 3 of which co-starred his good friend, Spencer Tracy. Gable appeared opposite some of the most popular actresses of their time. Joan Crawford was a favorite actress of his to work with, and he partnered with her in 8 films. Myrna Loy worked with him 7 times, and he was paired with Jean Harlow in 6 productions. He also starred with Lana Turner in 4 films, and in 3 each with Norma Shearer and Ava Gardner. In addition to these beautiful actresses that Clark starred with, he had romantic scenes with some of the top actresses of the day, including Clara Bow, Vivien Leigh, Barbara Stanwyck, Paulette Goddard, Sophia Loren, Hedy Lamarr, Mary Astor, Grace Kelly, Deborah Kerr, Greta Garbo, Alexis Smith, Yvonne DiCarlo, Loretta Young, and Marilyn Monroe. Several of these women were involved with Gable outside of the studio as well. Gable married the beautiful actress and his soulmate, Carole Lombard, in 1939, but tragedy struck on January 16, 1942, while returning back to Los Angeles. Lombard, her mother, and Gable's press agent Otto Winkler, as well as 19 others, all died in a tragic plane crash. While leaving Las Vegas, the plane crashed into the side of Mount Potosi. Gable was devastated, to say the least. Gable joined the Air Force soon after this disaster and spent 2 years as an aerial cameraman and bomber gunner in Europe during World War II, rising to the rank of major. Although his movies following his return were not critically lauded, they did well at the box office. He experienced a critical revival with The Hucksters in 1947, Homecoming in 1948, and Magambo in 1953, which also featured newcomer Grace Kelly. Later, he starred in westerns and war movies such as Run Silent, Run Deep in 1958 with Burt Lancaster, and in comedies that paired him with a new generation of leading ladies such as Doris Day in Teacher's Pet 1958 and the beautiful Sophia Loren in It Started in Naples 1960, and Marilyn Monroe in The Misfits in 1961. On February 8, 1960, Gable received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame for his work in motion pictures, located at 1608 Vine Street. His co-star Doris Day summed up Gable's unique personality by saying, "He was as masculine as any man I've ever known, and as much a little boy as a grown-up man could be. It was this combination that had such a devastating effect on women." Longtime friend and on-again and off-again romance co-star Joan Crawford concurred by stating on David Frost's TV show in January of 1970 that Clark was the king wherever he went. He earned the title. He walked like one, he behaved like one, and he was the most masculine man that I've ever met in my life. Gable had balls. On November 6, 1960, Clark Gable was sent to Hollywood Presbyterian Medical Center in Los Angeles, California, where doctors found that he had suffered a heart attack. Newspaper reports the following day listed his condition as satisfactory. By the morning of November 16th, he seemed to be improving, but he died that evening at the age of 59 from an arterial blood clot. Medical staff did not perform CPR for fear that the procedure would rupture Gable's heart, and a defibrillator was not available. His final role on screen appearance was as of an aging cowboy in The Misfits, released posthumously in 1961. And perhaps some useless trivia: Bugs Bunny's nonchalant, carrot-chewing standing position, as explained by Chuck Jones, Fritz Freeling, and Bob Clampett, originated in a scene in the film It Happened One Night, in which Clark Gable's character leans against a fence, eating carrots rapidly and talking with his mouth full to Claudette Colbert's character. This scene was well known while the film was popular, and viewers at the time likely recognized Bugs Bunny's behavior as satire. Gable is interred at the Great Mausoleum Memorial Terrace at Glendale's Forest Lawn Memorial Park next to Carole Lombard and her mother. An honor guard and pallbearers Spencer Tracy and James Stewart were in attendance. 22 years later, Kay Gable, his wife at the time of his death, was interred there as well. My son Audie and I have returned to these crypts several times through the years when the public was allowed to enter the great mausoleum, and I told my son quite proudly several times, "For me, this is the Mecca of Hollywood, standing at Clark Gable's final resting place." Two quotes that come to mind with Clark Gable that are from him directly really sums him up as a person, and I really admire Clark Gable as one of my favorite actors. One of his quotes was, "I'm no actor and I never have been. What people see on the screen is me." And the other quote, "The only reason they come to see me is that I know that life is great, and they know I know it." This was a man that always showed great confidence on screen, great likability in no matter what character he was playing, great intelligence, and I hope you enjoyed this video, my friends. Just wanted to pay my respects to one of my matinee star idols, has been for a long time, Mr. Clark Gable, and I hope you like it. Thank you very much for taking time out of your busy day and watching this. Please like, subscribe to my channel if you have not already done so. Much more ahead, my friends. But for now, adios, amigos.